So being an ADHDer in the digital age means that we are really at a huge disadvantage compared to neurotypical people. With every single piece of software and technology that's systematically designed to pull your attention away from what you're doing right now, for us fellow ADHDers, we are never more than a tap or a click away from our next dopamine hit. And that's a real problem. So in this video, I'm going to talk about this current era of distraction and why current technology trends are really making your ADHD symptoms worse. If you're new here, my name's Chris, and I'm a creator with ADHD, and I help fellow active brains learn the tools to finally focus, grow, and get shit done. So as we've heard so many times with ADHD, it's that it stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. The emphasis is always being on the attention deficit, but the reality is that we don't have an attention deficit. We never did. We actually have a lot of attention for the things that we're interested in. What we have a deficit in is self-regulation. We struggle to regulate some of our urges that our brains tell us to do. So how does this interact with current technology? So we've all heard of the algorithm, this nebulous idea of some computer program that chooses what videos to show to what people, or what news to show you on Facebook, or what kind of TikTok video you're going to be interested in. So all of that is controlled by a computer program that learns from you and your actions. Every time you scroll past a video, it notes it down. Every time you watch a video, it remembers. Very quickly, it develops a very deep knowledge of what is going to capture your attention at what time of day. And it learns to show it to you at exactly the right time to keep you using that app. So for us ADHDers, when we use social media, we are bombarded with hyper-specific content that is designed to keep us interested in using that app or platform. And that's why it's so damn hard to pull away. And it's the same with our phones and computers, right? Every app and program that you use has some form of notification. And 99% of the time, it's not designed to give you information. It's just designed to encourage you to go back to using the app. It's there to, again, get your attention. And this may seem innocuous because we're just being shown what we like, right? I mean, where's the harm in that? Well, yeah, that's true. And this isn't a video about social media being the worst thing ever to exist. I mean, I uploaded this onto YouTube, right? Social media and technology as a whole can have incredible benefits. It can do amazing things. It can teach us a world of information. The problem is that the impact for us ADHDers means that we struggle with self-regulation, and our attention is being drawn to this perfect organism device that's designed to promote its own usage. It knows exactly what we want to see, and that can be a recipe for disaster. You know, think about it this way. Phones are designed to be used all the time for everything. To be used for emails, to be used for texting, to be used for social media, to be used to take photos, to store your photos. Phones are there to be an everything device. The problem comes when that everything device is always calling for your attention, because as soon as you open that device up, then you have a barrage of notifications and things to do. That's why it's so hard to put down your phone, is because there's no real reason to put down your phone. You can use it for everything. You can use it for work email, you can use it for texting your friends, you can use it for social scrolling. There's a million different reasons to use your phone. And phone manufacturers and app manufacturers know that. Everything that they do is designed to pull your attention back to constantly using it. So as an ADHDer, we now live in an age where there is a constant barrage of everything. When we have specific tasks to do in our lives, whether it's work or whether it's personal time and everything in between, having a device that pulls your attention away from all of that at all times really leaves us on a back foot. So what can we do to minimize the attention-grabbing capabilities of all of these things? The first thing we can do is to audit the notifications that we are receiving. You know, I want you to think to the amount of notifications that you get in a day on your phone. Hundreds, right? Every single app, every app will send you some form of notification. Now, I want you to take a second to think about how many of those notifications are actually useful. How many of them are needed at that time? Very few. When we think about the important people in our life and how those important text messages and calls and things like that from them get lost in the sea of notifications. And as an ADHDer, our friendships can really suffer because we get so many notifications, we get so many other distractions that we can actually lose track of friendships really, really easily. Because the consequence of turning off all of these notifications means that we spend less time on our phone, less time using the apps that we don't need to be using at that moment in time, and we can become a lot more deliberate with our phone usage. The next thing to take a look at is using the focus modes on your phone. So focus modes are really common on both Android and Apple phones. And what you can do is you can switch between a personal profile and a work profile. So for example, during the day, if you're working, you can set it up so that you only get certain notifications from work colleagues and maybe a specific important person, a partner or something who may be having an emergency. You can get notifications from that. So you get specific notifications during specific times. So focus modes are really good at separating out different profiles on your phone for different types of notifications. And because you get reduced notifications and only relevant notifications, it's a lot easier to put down your phone after you've used it because you're not being distracted by the other hundreds of not relevant social media notifications. So separating them out is really, really useful, which brings me onto my next point, which is separate your work and your personal. So oftentimes when it comes to phones and computers, etc., is that we actually end up merging the two of work and personal into one thing. So we still go on social media on our work computers and we still get work email on our phone. And it means that we're constantly living this double life at the same time. We're always working, we're always navigating our personal relationships and social media, and it stops us from having dedicated time for anything. And that's a really, really crucial point because when it comes to ADHD, we already struggle focusing on one thing. So in merging everything into everything else, it actually trains our brain to get used to the idea that work and personal always intertwine. It teaches our brain that it's absolutely fine to be scrolling on social media while you're at work or entering work emails at 11:53 p.m. at night. The more that we do it, the more that it trains the brain into acknowledging that this is normal and this is okay. So for example, keeping just your work on your work computer and using an app to block social websites so that you're not tempted to go on there, and the inverse for your phone, uninstalling your work email on your phone and just keeping it for personal. That way, when you are tempted to go on social media or something, you have to deliberately go and get the device that is used for personal. And the same with work. If you're tempted to send an email at 11:53 at nighttime, then that would mean you deliberately would have to get up and go over to your work computer. So increasing that friction between the work and the personal means that you have to be more deliberate with it, which gives our brains the pause to be able to say, should I be doing this right now or can this wait? And if you're interested in learning more tools and strategies and internal shifts to help our ADHD, then I invite you to join our free Focus Bootcamp, where I show you the system that's helped me and other members learn to thrive with their ADHD. I'll drop a link in the description down below. The next main point is making sure that you take the time to change the environment around you. You know, when it comes to technology and media, we have so many devices. We have so many potential ways to interact with the outside world. Having that temptation there all the time for us ADHDers is kind of like waving a red rag to a bull. We are going to head towards it. It's our impulse to head towards it. So if you change the environment and you remove the distracting technology, you know, iPads, phones, etc., and doing something as simple as putting them in the other room, out of your sight, so that that environment is not tempting you all the time to interact with that outside world. Again, this isn't about removing every single aspect of social media or technology from your life. It's just about being more deliberate with when you choose to do it. The more deliberate we can be with it, the more we will train our brain to develop that habit, to always be deliberate with it. And a big part of that is reducing the temptation by changing the environment. One of the other ways is practicing mindfulness. I know this may sound very woo-woo, it sounds very new age and hippie-ish, right? But the fact is that mindfulness actually is proven to thicken your prefrontal cortex, which is the main part of the brain that impacts our ADHD. So practicing mindfulness is actually a very, very effective way of not only developing our focus, but actually to train our brain to get used to the idea of focusing. So mindfulness works in the short term and it works in the long term. So how do you practice mindfulness? Mindfulness can be practiced in many different ways. So there's lots of different techniques. There's meditation, there's being mindful in the tasks that you do day to day, there's being mindful in your emotions. There are many different ways of being mindful. So I suggest you look into some of the many different techniques of mindfulness. But just the simple act of practicing, doing one thing at a time, and making sure that you're not multitasking, trains our brain to get used to the idea of it. It's kind of like a muscle, right? You know, when you go to the gym, the more that you do it, the easier it gets, the more that your muscle gets used to it. It's the same with mindfulness. The more that you practice it, the more that you deliberately take the time to stop multitasking and to remove distractions and to be more deliberate with your awareness, the more that your brain will remember to do it next time. But I want to challenge you to just try to do one of these things on the list and just see the difference that it makes in your day-to-day. You know, life is never about the extremes. It's never about removing something completely from your life. I'm not saying to throw away your phone or smash your TV or live in a hut in the middle of a rainforest. This is not about removing technology from your life completely. It's just about developing the self-awareness of the challenges that we have as ADHDers and the back foot that we can be on when it comes to notifications, social media, and all of those distractions around us. The more that we can take the time to craft our environment to work in our favor, the easier things are going to be for us because we can be more aware of it and we can act in the right way at the right moment. And that's what this is all about, really. And if you want to learn more about ADHD, how our brains work, then I invite you to check out the other videos on my channel, subscribe if you found this useful, and with that, I will see you in the next video.